one consistent feedback I always got about Rose was they don't make them like this anymore.
It's definitely like in her soul that this is just the type of work that she was meant to do.
And I really felt hands-free. I felt like that weight was lifted off my shoulders. I didn't feel like that anxiety was there.
There is a difference between a baby nurse and a doula.
I didn't cry when my mom left. I will cry when Rose leaves. If you're gonna hire a baby nurse, I, for the life of me, can't figure out why you wouldn't use them to their full capacity. We just absorbed her as part of the family.
The last time I lived was when Rose was living with us.
Even when my mom was here, she kept saying like, yeah, Rose, she's schooling me, man.
Every child is unique. I have been with 300 babies.
Welcome to Advanced Maternal Age, real and raw talk from pregnancy, labor, 3 a.m. trenches, and the messy magic of motherhood.
Fertility, conception, surprise turns, and the acronyms no one asked for.
Whether you're tracking your cycle, cuddling a newborn, or figuring out what's next, you're in the right place.
I'm Achint.
I'm Meredith. We're your co-pilots on this AMA ride.
This is Advanced Maternal Age.
Hi, guys. We have a special guest today.
We're excited.
Miss Rosemarie, or I call her Miss Rose, because
It's Rosie.
Miss Rosie. And we also have another special guest that refuses to lay down. So we have a lot of special guests today. But we wanted to talk to Rose because she is a baby nurse, been one for over 25 years. And she has a really interesting story of how she became a baby nurse, and also just her personality in general is so like calming and loving. And it really was like, you know, if you ever had to think of a job that was like made for you, that you were like put on planet Earth to do, I believe like this is totally like a job for you. Because, you know, some people, they do careers and they're passionate about them, but maybe it's not necessarily like in their soul. I feel like for you, like this is like definitely like your soul's purpose to do this type of work. So we both had Rose as our baby nurse. We'll get a little bit more into maybe how we found her. But first, we want Rose to tell us about herself, where you're from. She's originally from Trinidad, so she can get into that. And from a whole host of families, a gaggle of kids. She has a lot of brothers and sisters, which is crazy. So yeah, so tell us about yourself, Rose, and why did you become a baby nurse?
Well, I just love babies. I took care of all my children, my nieces, my nephews, my siblings.
Right.
And you enjoyed it.
And I enjoyed it.
And
I even had a preschool.
Right.
Taught
In Trinidad, before you came
Trinidad.
to the United States.
I did early child education.
So tell us how you got into that, because I think you were doing something else before that, right? Or did you always get into that? I
Well,
forget.
I used to work in a hotel, yes.
See, yeah.
Doing food and beverage management and all that stuff.
Okay.
And then my mother, we opened that preschool in a church, the back of the church.
Okay.
Priest helped us to open it out and all that. And then she left and leave me to carry out the fort. So I became the principal.
Oh, of the school.
And we were also affiliated with the primary school. So for my kids, we went there.
Okay.
I taught from 3 years, 3.5 to 5 years.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
9.
And you are where in that order?
I am the second.
Okay.
So I took care of the other one, the smaller one.
Right.
What's the age difference between you and the first sibling and you and the second?
All 1 year apart.
Oh, wow.
It's
Active
actually
family.
insane. Like that's being pregnant for a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used
Imagine.
to happen a lot, though.
And her mom is still
Those
alive.
moo dresses.
Your mom is still alive.
93 years.
93, her mom is.
Wow.
She helped me write my book.
Oh, that's
wow.
right. So Rose has a book on Amazon. Let's plug the book. What's it called, Rose?
The Journey of a Baby Nurse.
The Journey of a Baby Nurse. So everyone needs to get it. It's on Amazon. It's all of her tips and tricks. So if you can't have Rose in your home, you can have her in some way if you read her book. It's really good.
We have been very fortunate to have her because, you know, she comes to our doctor's appointments. She's come to like a lot of different other therapists and healers with us. And like the one consistent trait or the one consistent feedback I always got about Rose was they don't make them like this anymore. She's like the grandma. She's like a mother. She's like everything they're too clinical is what I hear. I hear that.
Oh, the other baby nurses
The
are
other
too
nurses,
clinical.
they're too clinical. They're very like dry. It's like a you're clocking in for a job, you're doing it like as if you were working at a hospital, that type of thing. And the one thing that, I would always get that feedback about you was, wow, she just has that energy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's definitely like in her soul that this is just the type of work that she was meant to do. You're in the United States, born and raised in Trinidad, which is amazing. And I think that also speaks to it too, is that you grew up in a different culture, right? Like you grew up in kind of that old school way, which I think is important when you are taking care of babies, because there's a lot of new shit right out there. There's a lot of new stuff. And especially with social media, we talk about that a lot on the podcast in previous episodes. There's a lot of noise. And maybe some people might be wondering why Achint and I had a baby nurse, even though we are older. Because, some people might be thinking, oh, baby nurse is better if you're a younger mom.
Or why even need one? That was a question I got all the time is, what? You got a live-in nurse? Why? Like, you have all this family around.
Yeah, so maybe, Achint, why don't you say why you felt you wanted to have a baby nurse?
We've both been fortunate on having this experience, but it was not initially something that I was thinking of. I did hear from a friend of mine. She had become pregnant and she was talking about night nurses and, they help with all the efforts that you do at night, right? With the wake up, the feedings and everything. I was kind of early on in my pregnancy, and the way we know each other is through your daughter-in-law. Your daughter-in-law basically presented to me that, hey, by the way, my mother-in-law is a professional baby nurse. She kind of does this situation for a lot of families where, she takes care of the baby. I was like, okay, I don't know if I'll need that or not.
Because you already had the postpartum doula lined up as well.
I was thinking of getting one. I hadn't hired anybody at that point.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, I think I'll manage, right? I was one of those people. I think I'll manage. My husband works from home. We'll be okay. We have family. We have friends around. Things will be fine. And then the more and more I researched it with people who didn't have one, who were getting pregnant later, and some people that did, they were like, oh, that's really helpful. And then I went down the TikTok and social media rabbit holes where people were really advocating for having a night nurse. So you do live-in. And when I talked to you, I was like, okay, let me research this a little bit more. And now that I've gone through it, I always say, like, it does not matter how many family members you have, the level of experience you have. I think if you can afford to do and have one, or if your insurance can pay for it with work through Cherish or whatever, definitely get one, because it was more of something that fell into my lap. It was not something that I was thinking of getting.
And it definitely same for me. So it wasn't on my radar because my mom was always going to come and be around for 2.5 months, which she was. But like Rose and I have discussed, well, she's been with me. So she's still with me now. So she's been with me now almost, when it's all done, it will be 3 months. And I think that the thing I can say is having a professional, it doesn't take away from the advice that you get from your mom or your friends or anybody in your life who maybe have had children before you. She's a professional. So the advice that she gives you, you just take it differently. In postpartum especially, you could get annoyed with your mom. You can get annoyed with your friends and just be like, oh, fuck off. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
There's too much. There's too much advice sometimes when you have too many people. That's what I sometimes faced, right? So before Rose came to work with us.
Right. It's a different story too when you are paying somebody. Because at the end of the day, you're paying them. Like, this is their job. This is what they're good at. This is their expertise. So you should listen to them. I mean, you don't have to, but then respectfully, you're kind of dumb. And I think wasting your money.
Yeah.
If you don't listen to them.
No, 100%. And one thing I will say, what I have noticed in my experience with my friends who have had kids in the past few years, parents may remember the baby phase and what they did in the baby phase, but they don't remember the newborn phase. And that newborn phase
kind of block it out.
Well, you forget it, right? It's been so many years by the time your parents become grandparents that newborn phase is so vastly different than the average baby phase, the 2 to 3 to 6 month phase. It's different developments. That newborn, that first 8 to 12 weeks is so different. basically the advice that I was getting from family members and friends didn't seem helpful for that newborn phase. But it really wasn't until Rose came and started working with us that I really felt like, okay, I have somebody that can really, truly take care of this child. And I really felt hands-free. I felt like that weight was lifted off my shoulders. I didn't feel like that anxiety was there.
With that being said, Rose, like what Achint just said, the anxiety and all of that, what's the difference, in your opinion, between a baby nurse and a night nurse or even like a postpartum doula? Because we hear all of those terms and they're all very different. So what's the difference?
No, there is a difference between a baby nurse and a doula. A baby nurse only focuses on the child, the baby. The doula focuses on the birthing mom, the parent, the child, the family.
Right.
You know, she's the one supposed to cook, clean, and
The doula.
Yes, and educate the mother on taking care of the baby.
But doesn't actually take care of the baby, just trying to help the mom be better at that. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
They are the doula, the ones who do that, who cleans, take care of the mother, take care of the father, and even help with the siblings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is their job. I didn't
That's
even
what my
realize that.
Right.
Yeah,
I've heard that
services.
phrase that the doula is to mother the mother.
Right.
So the baby nurse, and like Achint has already mentioned, you're a live-in baby nurse. So when you're there, you work mostly.
Only with the baby.
Right. And
That is why they say some parents, they hire the both.
right. If they want to have a postpartum doula and a baby nurse.
And a baby nurse.
To be able to, which is what Achint had. I mean, she did have a postpartum doula, which we had spoken about in a previous episode. And then she did have Rose, but you only had Rose for what, a month?
I only had Rose for 4 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's because that time she was basically booked before and after.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't cry when my mom left. I will cry when Rose leaves.
Oh, my husband. Can I just tell you, my husband,
He cried.
he was so sad. He was so sad.
Oh my God. Well, if you guys have a second child, I'm sure Rose will come back around for you.
I know. Can I tell you, I've spoken so highly of you to all my friends. And now my friends are like, if we have a
Thank
second kid, we're going to use her. And I'm like, as long as we're not pregnant at the same time.
You're like,
we're not
well,
using her.
yeah, TBD, it might not be available. Okay, so 25 years doing this, or over 25 years, I'm sure you've had lots of crazy stories happen without exposing anyone, of course. What is something that's happened in your tenure being a baby nurse that is memorable? I mean, it could be a funny thing, it could be something cute, it could be maybe something that was a little crazy, but we know you've got some good stories.
I went to this mother just once in a lifetime, and she didn't want me to do anything for the baby. I was one in Nashville, I ain't calling no names, but she just wanted to do everything. So I said, well, why did you hire me for?
Right.
What was her response? Like, if
She
you
had no
asked,
response. But because her friend had me,
Right. She felt like she needed you as well.
yes.
Right.
But she really didn't.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to bathe the baby, she wanted to feed the baby, she wanted to do everything.
She was a first-time mom.
Yes.
That's interesting. There is this new phenomenon that I think you told me about on TikTok, which is
just in case.
just in case nannies or just in case baby nurses. And so it's
Yes.
these people who obviously are of a certain wealth, because let me tell you, this isn't a cheap thing. It's definitely a privileged thing. If you're going to hire a baby nurse, I, for the life of me, can't figure out why you wouldn't use them to their full capacity.
Exactly.
That's
And
exactly what it
but
is.
I also think this is just, we have the personalities, you and I, where we are very social people. I feel like Rose is like my husband while she's here. Like we just do everything together. Like we do
She
the
was
bath
more
time
of my
together.
mom than I felt like my mom or my mother-in-law or any person could be
Right.
during that phase.
I think we both embraced it that way, where we just absorbed her as part of the family.
Yeah.
And I think that's the advice I would give to anybody is yes, she is living in your house with you, but so it might take you a little bit, but don't treat her like a stranger, because the way you're going to bond with the baby at the same time and also utilize her as a baby nurse, soak up all the advice that she's giving you, is to kind of do things with her. But I will say for me, the first month or so, I really didn't go out of the house much.
Neither.
Maybe just a walk around the block or something. Now, 3 months in, when Rose comes, I'm like, Rose, bye. See you 5
I'm like,
hours
this
later.
girl's living. This girl's living. I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, Rose comes and homegirl is out.
I got stuff to do. No, it's not like I'm
But I
partying.
started doing that, right?
Yeah,
2 weeks in, she told me, she's like, you can go out. And I was
Just
like,
gonna tell her
what?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I encourage moms to go out, go dinner,
Right.
go have brunch, go out. Go do your nails, go do your hair, go do your fingernails. Take advantage of me.
I know.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, but it took me a little while. Now, granted, you only had her for a month. So because I've had her for longer, I think
So I didn't stay by you longer.
yeah.
No, but you know, that was like a scheduling thing because we would have kept you right until her delivery.
Yeah, exactly. But it did take me a little bit. And it wasn't because I didn't trust Rose or anything like that. It was just like, to that mom's point, the story that you just told, I can see why people might have a hard time like letting go. And just, especially as a first time mom, that guilt of feeling like, oh, but I'm not doing the thing. But listen, if you're putting out that money, yes, use you. This is your job. You're the expert. You know what you're doing. But also, yeah, like work together, be a team. But
I don't take over babies.
No.
I give mothers their time.
You really have.
Yes, I do.
No, yeah.
And you know how much I used to like be like a little like nutty about like, oh my God, I gotta breastfeed, I gotta pump. But like she gave me that space. Like it's all about how much comfort you want. Like for me, I didn't realize at the very beginning that I wasn't feeding my child enough. So then by the time Rose started with me, I was like a little like, oh my God, I got to get these many feedings a day and I got to put him on the boob and I have to
wake you up.
Yeah.
And you used to sleep and give you your time with the baby.
Yeah.
Do you remember sleep, Achint?
The last time I lived was when Rose was living with us. My husband and I will both agree. We're like, we miss her, man. We need somebody like that again.
So what are some tips that you could give the listeners, either they're first-time parents or maybe they're having more kids, maybe they're not the first time, but just some tips that you think could help make their first weeks at home like a little bit easier? It doesn't have to be a product. It could be a product, but it also could just be like something that they should do.
All right. Well, first of all, you don't use the wipes from the hospital.
Right.
That's terrible.
Oh, yes.
And that what bruised up your Aaron Tushy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buy the cotton balls, the bigger ones.
The cotton rounds, like the stuff that you use to clean your makeup.
That too, yes. You use that with some nice warm water and you clean them with that.
Just water.
When the tooth start coming bigger, and a few weeks, you could buy. And I learned the tooth, what is it?
The
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie wipes.
Whoopsie should sponsor us. They're
best.
I love those.
No.
I use them for everything.
I recommend that. I recommend that for all mothers.
Yeah, Whoopsie is a great wipe.
Dampen it with some warm water and wipe his under his neck,
Oh, yes.
his face, under his arms.
You can use Whoopsies for a lot of things. They're a dry wipe. For people who don't know what they are, they're a dry wipe. If you have a boy, they're really good because you can use that as a little tent for their genitals so they don't pee all over you when you're like transporting them to the bath or something. But they're a dry wipe, so you can use them dry or you can get them wet, like Rose is saying. When you first bring them home the first month, you know, they eat and they poop. They eat and they poop. So it's just like a lot of diaper changes.
So much on that tushy.
Even though we were only using like the water wipes and the Honest Sensitive, but there's always some alcohol in
There's
those
a
wipes.
little bit of so the
There has
water
to be.
wipes has only grapefruit extract, but all the other ones, like I've looked at every single one of them now, they all have the tiniest trace amounts of different alcohols.
Because they have to keep it sanitized.
Yeah, and so my mom, because my child had like the worst diaper rash on the planet, almost went to the ER twice, like insane. She
Like
was
broken skin diaper rash.
yeah, it's a fungal infection, you name it, it was there. So she was like, no, there's something wrong with the wipes. They definitely have alcohol. I was like, no, they're natural, blah, blah, blah. No, she was right.
Yeah. So I definitely think that's a really good tip. I agree with you. And we did that because of what happened with the Achint's son. With my son, we did that right away. So we had just using the water with like the cotton rounds. So that's a good tip. What's another tip that you have?
What's like, if you could list like top 3 do's in the newborn phase and top 3 don'ts.
Those is the cotton balls, the saline, the Q-tips,
The nose. Yeah.
the nose, and always make sure you clean behind the ears
Oh, clean the tongue.
and the tongue,
Right.
And then you said the neck.
the neck,
The neck.
Because they're always like dribbling and
under
drooling.
the arms. You ever smell behind you and smell how bad you smell it? The ears.
Disgusting.
You know what's a good
Fresh.
tip also that postpartum doula shared as well is take some warm ghee. And it's ghee because it's neutral. And then you rub them and it actually will take off like the dirt and everything that's collected.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll like come off. Like, you know, when they get this stuff in their like little hands and their feet, like the little lint and like
And just
the-
make sure you're wiping it off. Don't leave. Don't leave your baby buttered.
Yeah.
Tip
No,
is-
you do it before they take a bath.
The next tip is when they take their bath, make sure they're dry properly.
Right. Make sure they drive it in between toes.
The
roll.
fingers,
We had a little bit of a situation with Aiden's feet getting a little like red and like flaky. So we think it's because maybe the moisture. Because we're in the winter, so he's always wearing socks.
And the next thing is take out socks sometimes and let them be free.
They need to feel
Get a little like
Smelly.
but also they need to feel the different textures. They do need to feel like
Giving them, and tummy time, take out their socks.
is you have a don'ts.
Don't use the wipes from the hospital.
Don't use the wipes.
again. That's the second time.
I think it's
Don't
not third
use the
time
wipes from
actually.
the hospital.
Don't use the wipes from the hospital or wipes period for the first month.
And don't hit them to rub them too hard. They say it's to rub.
Rub. That is true. To rub in the back and then rub kind of on their sacrum, like right by their bum.
Don't lift them up high to wipe the tushy. Roll them.
Oh, right. Don't grab their legs like chickens. Just roll them over
them
because it
over.
messes up with their feet. Even when my mom was here, she kept saying like, yeah, Rose, she's schooling me, man. Like, because she would tell my mom like, no, don't do that. Don't grab him like that. So it just goes to show that even my mom who had 4 kids, there's something to learn.
Yeah, because everything changes.
What's really impressive is that you have been doing this for so long and you've seen so much stuff.
And it's changing, and still I am moving with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am moving with the changes.
Yeah. Rose is proof you can teach an old dog a new trick.
Yeah.
So tell us, what's one thing you wish every parent knew?
That all kids, their characteristics are the same. They develop the same way. The sucking of the finger, everything they develop the same way. But they still are different.
Right.
Every child is unique.
Right.
Every child is unique.
So don't compare your
one
experience with
with
somebody else, or even if you've had more than one kid.
Right.
Just because one kid was maybe a great sleeper doesn't mean your next one will be. Or maybe your first experience, you had a really colicky baby. You're saying it doesn't mean that the next baby will be the
Will
same.
be colicky, no.
And do you think that it's more beneficial to have a baby nurse when you're a first-time mom, or it doesn't matter?
No, it is better to have a baby nurse to
What-
teach you, educate you, and help you.
No, but every time, or like, do you think it's better like how you had that one family that had you even the second time? Do you feel like it's helpful to have it every time?
Probably because, the second time, like you mentioned, other clients, then you have another kid. So maybe there's like a nanny, or maybe the parents are primarily taking care of that other kid, and then they're
they
able
need
to
help.
let you help with the baby.
The baby, yeah.
Right. Okay. So I could see the benefits
Because
of both.
the nanny will help with the bigger child.
Right. Or if they don't have a nanny, but the parents can focus on the older
growing-
child,
yeah.
and you're able to help with the baby.
With the baby.
How do you support, or how do you feel like baby nurses support a parent's mental and physical and emotional health, in addition to just being there for the baby only?
Well, you kind of supporting the mother physically, talking to them, guiding them, telling them you are not the first and you're the last.
My first month postpartum was hard because I had my complication, which I spoke about in my birth story episode. So it wasn't just recovering from a C-section. For me, I was also recovering from having the small bowel obstruction. So there were definitely days where I was still in the first month very weak, a lot more tired than maybe I normally would be. I, like I spoke about before, was unfortunately not able to continue breastfeeding because of what happened to me. So there were days definitely where Rose saw me and I was just very, very sad. Like what I am now, what I am now versus where I was when she was first with me is now I'm more like me.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I was very sad all the time. I was like, I would just start crying on the couch. And, she was just always like there, but she wasn't like intrusive. Like you weren't like in my business, but you were just very much like there and like comforting. And even if it was just like watching a movie at night together or something, I think like just knowing that I wasn't alone was helpful.
Because I used to tell
Me.
Achint that, you feel you are alone going through the process when you breastfeeding. And I said, no, other mothers have the same problem too. So that alone is encouragement for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is not only you going through that. They went through the same thing.
I would like complain to her all the time as if I was the only person going through this pain. And she's like, no, I've seen so many moms. And it was helpful because my mother did not really breastfeed for that long.
Right.
So
Right.
having to go through those things and explaining it, and even people in my family, they didn't experience the thrush and the breast that I did. They didn't
duck and all of
experience
that.
the ducts, the clogged milk blebs.
Bleb.
Oh, that was so painful. And then I got mastitis after you left, right?
Oh, gosh.
Right.
So I've had to go through everything that they warn you about breastfeeding. I've experienced, but when I was going through that, there was nobody even that I could talk to. That I found a friend after you left that was talking to me about it, but I couldn't really share that experience. So it was nice to hear her tell me, no, the last person or the time before that, I had this one lady.
Identical thing.
Yeah. No, I think it's just comforting. So
That
even
is comforting.
My postpartum anxiety and rage was so bad. And I kept on telling people it's so specifically linked to this diaper rash that is not going away.
because you just felt hopeless.
I just did. And he was on like very strong medications for so long. She knows, she's gone to the doctor's office and stuff, and it just was never ending. But when she came, it was even like the fact that I knew that she had taken care of so many babies and she has seen the rashes, she's seen the oral thrush, she's seen this. But she came in, and like the day that she came in, I'm telling you, like the anxiety became like
Everything left.
everything left. And I was telling people, oh
Yep.
my God, I'm feeling so much better. My doula was checking in, my birthing doula was checking in on me to be like, are you still okay? Do you need
You
help?
can see it
Like
on your face. Everything was different.
everything. I was just like, oh man, like somebody's there to really take care of my child in a way that I don't even think I could have been there for him because my anxiety and my rage was kind of blocking that.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that for sure. I would say my two big things of why I'm really happy that I've had Rose in my life is I'm gonna like cry. I swear to God.
I know.
I'm gonna get emotional. Oh God.
This
No,
is
so,
the second to last week, Meredith, is with
I know.
Rose.
The countdown has begun. Two things. One is the doctor's visits. So her going to most of all of my doctor's visits, she's come with us. And that's been really great because even though like me and his dad are there, it's also great to have somebody who has been obviously through it with her own kids, her grandkids, her nieces, her nephews, and then all of her clients. It's just like a comforting thing because she'll like ask things, or she also, the pediatrician I think appreciates her being there because the pediatrician can also ask her questions that maybe she's observed, you know, because they're always asking those developmental milestones, right? So that's just been really great, similar to what you say, like just kind of a weight's lifted off of you. You don't feel as much pressure. And then the other thing really has been when I got better physically and mentally, like my second and now third month in getting into postpartum almost, just being able to leave and like do my errands or go to the gym and go and, you know, do my nails, do whatever I want to do, even if it is going out. I mean, I like to take him with me to like go and, you know, see friends, but the ability to just be able to do those things during the days that she is here, you can't put a price on it because
Yeah.
it really just makes you just feel more human. And I was actually thinking about it today. I'm trying not to like scare myself, but I was thinking about it today, thinking like, oh my gosh, in a couple of weeks time, I'm just going to have to figure out how to like do all of these things without having her. And I'll figure it out, but it's going to be hard because I'm going to have to just take him everywhere I go.
Well,
And
this
there's
is
no
also,
option.
and this is the thing, right? Like with the 3 to 6 month phase, they get more active, they start seeing better, they get distracted, they do all of these things that you have never experienced in the newborn phase. And you're like, oh, this baby's like really changing and really growing, and they're like learning all these new things, and you never really know what's going on.
Different phases.
And like she's not there.
What is your ideal time? Like if someone were to ask you how long ideally is best to have you, what would you say? Like 5 months?
3 months.
3 months is ideal. Okay, so 90 days is ideal.
You know, the best thing about, and I don't think every live-in nurse or definitely not the nice nurse, but if you have a live-in nurse, because she lives with us 24 hours a day, the best thing about what Rose did, and I advise this if you're going to be looking for a nurse, is ask them about scheduling and spacing out feedings and everything, because that was a really, really big help for me. And she's like kind of put your son also on like that schedule every 3 hours. He's not clustering.
Right. He had a little, I mean, babies will cluster, right? Because it's just it's part of their growing process. But I think as much as you can get on a quote unquote schedule within 3 months, I think we've done a pretty good job. I'm about to mess it all up by going on a vacation for 2 weeks, but
It's okay. You can figure it out after. But like I will say, so when Rose started working with us, my baby was like 4 weeks. Starting at that phase, we put him on a bedtime schedule and timing, and that has kept, okay? So we have stayed on that schedule.
I forgot about that. So that's different. That's a big difference between you and me. Your son was already a month old. Mine, Rose, was there from like day 6.
Yeah.
So
but
that
she's
was
like,
a very different experience. So that's a question back to you, Rose. If someone were to ask you, what's the best time for you to come in? From birth is best. So you're
we
saying
couldn't do birth for me.
right.
It was a scheduling issue.
A scheduling issue, but ideally from birth to 3 months is
Yes.
the ideal time.
But
Okay.
I will say, if you can, like me, I didn't have that. So even if you don't have that circumstance, if you have the opportunity and if you have the luxury and if you have the financial backing to do it, I would still say do it.
Last note I want to leave before I leave. The 25 years that I've been working as a baby nurse, I have been with 300 babies.
Wow.
300
was like 280. Now is about 300.
Oh my.
Honestly, Rose has been a saving grace for both Achint and I, and we would definitely recommend a baby nurse to anyone. Obviously, if you're in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, well, even if you're not actually, because she travels, she'll go to California, she's gone to other states.
Remember, we're trying to keep her local.
Well, that's true. I mean, we're trying to let her go easy into retirement. But listen, if you want her badly enough, she has gone to other states before: Texas, Tennessee, Florida, Italy. She's going to Greece with the family. Mention the podcast. She'll give you guys a discount. No, but truly, I think it's one of those things where, yes, it's a luxury. I think we've said that already a few times. We acknowledge that. I don't want people listening to this podcast I'm sure there's some people maybe rolling their eyes like, okay, yeah, but what if you can't afford it? And it's true. Listen, we're both blessed to be able to afford it. But if you can afford it, I would say it's one of those things. Listen, ask for money, donations in your baby shower for a baby nurse.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
I have seen that.
Well, thank you so much, Rose. We had so much fun with you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We know we're your favorite clients. You don't have to say it.